Hey everyone, Internet BCS book reader here. Today I want to talk about Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. I've only read one of the other Barbara Kingsolver work, which is Pigs in Heaven, that I actually quite enjoy. The writing on it is tight despite some small issues with the pacing of the story, and a child character actually acts like a child, which is quite rare in fiction. From what I've checked, her other works, Lacuna, have won the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2010, and with this new book of her Demon Copperhead, she is not only won a Pulitzer Prize for Fiction, but she also won the Women's Prize Fiction again, making her the first person ever to win the Women's Prize for Fiction twice. And the book is amazing. It immediately competes with Albert Camus' strong opening with First, I Got Myself Born. A decent crowd was on hand to watch, and they've always given me that much. The worst of the job was up to me, my mother being, let's just say, out of it. That is how Damon, our main protagonist, was born. On a toilet in a remote place with her mother dragged out of her mind. He had to fight his own way out into the world. After that, he was mostly taken care of by their neighbor, the Packard family, with Mrs. Packard being his main mom along with her own kid, Matt Packard or Maggot. They lived in Lee County, a small place where everyone had at some point got a nickname who's more known than their real name. Even Damon have one. Demon from Demon Seaman and Copperhead from hair color. Thus the name Demon Copperhead. And this is his childhood. A kid is a terrible thing to be, in charge of nothing. If you get past that and grown, it's easiest to forget about the misery and pretend you know all along what we were doing, assuming you've ended up someplace you're proud to be, and if not, easier to forget the whole thing, period. So this is going to be option 3. Not proud, not forgetting, not easy. And while living in a trailer house together with his mother, where he's the kid in the house that needs to remind his mother to turn on the damn alarm clock, it's not exactly PC. He's the adult in the house. But he can still have some fun reading comics and playing with the neighbor kid, as I said, Maggot. He had people who had his back. Probably everybody has got some golden patch of life like that, where everything was going to be okay thanks to the people that had your back. And sadly, you wasted it by being ticked off over some ignorantly like a busted TV. Too bad his mother then decided to marry a guy named Stoner who have 3 hobbies: going on his bike, pumping iron, and power tripping and peacocking on anyone, so he felt more secure in himself, including a kid like Demon. Someone that keep trying to put vile rhetoric into Demon when he's a kid. I was clueless to people's thinking, but the thing grows out teeth once put into words. Now I felt that worm digging, spitting its poison in my brain. Which fortunately for our main character, he's a better man than Stoner even as a child. But that doesn't ruin his character writing. Oftentimes when people wrote a child that is more mature than his age as the main character, you can feel it more than ever that this is a fictional story written by someone because of how fake everything sounds, and it can take you out of the story. But when you read Demon Copperhead, the storytelling feels so natural that you'll quickly forget that this is fiction. Demon is a nice kid, but still a child, and it can be seen on how he thinks. There's this one scene when he went for a trip to Knoxville with the Beckett family to visit their Aunt June for a while, leaving his mother at Lee County, where he thought, I hadn't talked about mom since we left, even though she was all don't forget me, which I thought was stupid. Who forgets his mom? But yet I had. I made up for it by thinking about her a lot on the way home. Which is such a kid logic full of naivety. This is a long book that I think you will still enjoy it. For more than 550 pages, we follow Demon and the people around him since his birth to when he kinda reached adulthood. The book is perfect, down to the last minute details. The character writings are amazing, the story are phenomenal, and the pacing is just right. No scenes overstay their welcome and nothing drag for too long. The character writing aged along with their characters. Demon as a child and Demon as a teenager feels like 2 different persons due to how he aged. There are a lot of quotable sentences in the book and so many memorable moments. It had its one-liner or shorter quotable moment. For example, it hit me pretty hard how there's no kind of set in this world that will stop it turning. People will keep on wanting what they want and you're on your own. No credit given for all the extra miles that take you nowhere. But the wicked have a different head for numbers than most. Any bad they do will end up on the side of never mind. What's done to them weighs double. And like I mentioned, it's not just these one-liners that are so good. but a lot of moments from our main character observation also make for a great scene that are so well written. For example, here are some of Demon's monologue in the state of the county he lives in. This is what we're meant to say. Look at their choices, leading to a life of ruin. But lives are getting lived right now, this hour, down in the dirty cracks between the toothbrush 99s and the full grocery cars, where those words don't pertain. Children, choices, ruin. That was the labor of material we were given to work with. An older boy that never knew safety himself, trying to make us feel safe. We had the moon in the window to smile on us for a minute and tell us the world was ours, because all the adults have gone off somewhere and left everything in our hands. And then this is him thinking back to his mother's funeral when she checks out early. In the long run, that's how I've come to picture mom at the end, reaching as hard as her little body would stretch, trying to touch the blue sky, reaching for some peace, and getting it. If the grown-up version of me could have one chance at walking backwards into this story, part of me wishes I could sit down on the back pew with that piece of kids in his overly tight church clothes and dark hawk attitude and tell him, "You think you're giant, but you are such a small speck in this screwed world. This is not about you." And then this is his talk when he got a knee injury and the painkiller medication they put him in early before Oxy became an epidemic. The first to fall in any war are forgotten. No love gets lost over one person's reckless mistake. Only after it's a mountain of bodies back do we think to raise a flag and call the mistake by a different name. Because one downfall times 1,000 has got to mean something. It needs its own brand, some point to all the sacrifice. The book has its list of trigger warning. Demon seems to have everything against him before he even existed. The state he was born in is a victim of coal mine cutting education and job opportunity to push people to the mine, while paying them with fake money that can only buy over expensive items the mine offered. His dad gone before he was even born. His mother is a pro at making mistakes and left early. His neighbors can't help him. He was forced into child labor at each of his foster home. He went through so much in such a young age, but the storytelling never feels like it's trying to speedrun him from going to one problem to the next like Emittance Valley of Amazement. And it never went on for so long like Free Food for Millionaires. The impact of those events stays while the moment went away. The trauma, disappointment, anger, shame, all shaped him to his teenage years. That went to an entirely different kind of dark, but somewhere you know, despite the dark places the story can go into, that there is a happy ending for Demon Copperfield. Because despite all he's hurt in the story, he keeps proving to us times and again that he is a survivor and that he is not alone. Despite all the snakes he met in his life, both the slimy kind of snake and the charming and manipulative kind of snake, he kept being there for the good people that surround him whenever they need him, because they are always there for him. And both of these moments, while they destroy him in some way, they also strengthen him in other ways. I've tried in this telling times and again to pinpoint the moment where everything starts to fall apart, everything meaning me. But there's also the opposite, where some little nut cracks open inside you and trees start to grow, even harder to nail, because that thing's going to be growing a long time before you notice, years maybe. Then one day you say, huh, that little crack between my ears has turned into this whole damn tree of wonderful. And I think it's a wonderful message. You know that scene from Shawshank Redemption where the prisoner was forced to fix the roof and Andy managed to get them some lukewarm beer. There are a lot of suffering in that movie or in that book, but that single moment while they have the peace warm beer together on the roof seems to make life still worth living for. And scenes like that are plenty in this book. A lot of people went through their own suffering and difficulties and it breaks some of them. But even still, some moments you look back and you realize that life is still worth living. This is easily either one of the best books I've read this year or the best book I've read this year, period. And I've read 140 books so far. Honestly, if this book did not become one of the all-time great classic, there is something wrong with our timeline. I gave this book a 5. Have you read the book? Leave a comment below on what you think of the book. Did I miss anything? Book my face to subscribe. That's about it.